Where once there were just shunting yards full of trains spilling over from Penn Station on the west side of New York, there now rises a whole new area dominating the skyline with a series of gleaming new towers. Hudson Yards is, in fact, the biggest mixed-use real estate development in the U.S. ever. Weighing in at an eye-watering $25 billion. The first phase of this development, from a New York-based real estate firm, is all but complete. When completed in 2024, it will be home to 16 different structures. Phase 1 is made up of 8 structures, a slightly odd word, structures, but one made necessary by the fact that one of the 8 is the Heatherwick studio-designed vessel, and nobody is quite sure what it is, but it's definitely not a building. One that definitely is a building is The Shed, led by Diller Scofidio and Renfro in collaboration with the Rockwell Group. On the very southern edge of the site, the brand new arts building is not strictly speaking part of the Hudson Yards development, being built on city land, funded separately, and run as a not-for-profit entity. Where it gets a little complicated is in the fact that the building is capable of moving at one end to occupy public space that is part of the development and, at its other end, nestles into the bottom of a massive new residential tower that is very much part of Hudson Yards and has also been designed by Diller Scofidio and Renfro and the Rockwell Group. The Shed. The Shed is the most exciting new building at Hudson Yards, a shape-shifting performing arts center for the nonprofit of the same name. A nonprofit sitting next to office buildings, million-dollar condos, and shopping options, the building can be accessed at street level without entering the rest of the neighborhood. It can physically transform to support artists' vision and the work they create. It can also grow into a theater environment, outdoor environment, or gallery environment. The building, which has 2 gallery spaces and a versatile theater, can even double in size thanks to a shell that can expand from the base onto the plaza. When the shell is deployed, the theater can accommodate an audience of 1,250 people sitting or over 2,000 people standing. Before continuing our tour of the estate, please take a minute to subscribe to the channel if you have yet to do so. Remember also to hit the notification bell, like and share the video. Tech-enabled retail. Situated between 2 skyscrapers and designed by Kohn Pedersen Fox, the retail center features more than 100 luxury and mass-market brands spread across 7 stories and 1 million square feet. That includes New York's first Neiman Marcus on the 5th and 10th floors, which will have art collections and food and beverage stations, and incorporate technology in their fitting rooms and mirrors to help shoppers find the perfect fit. The 2nd floor will host digitally native companies including underwear brand Mack Weldon and health drink company Dirty Lemon. The center will also contain some of the 25 restaurants in the neighborhood, including an American restaurant by the celebrated chef Thomas Keller and a Momofuku by David Chang. Office space galore, plus an observation deck. A diverse array of companies, including startups, hedge funds, law firms, and media companies, have made the neighborhood their new headquarters. Designed by Kohn Pedersen Fox, 10 Hudson Yards houses companies such as the Tapestry Group, Sidewalk Labs, Vayner Media, and the Boston Consulting Group. At 1,296 feet high, 30 Hudson Yards, also designed by Kohn Pedersen Fox, is New York's 2nd tallest office building, home to businesses including HBO, CNN, Turner Broadcasting, Time Warner, and Wells Fargo Securities. The deck on the 100th floor of the 30 Hudson Yards building is the highest outdoor man-made viewing area in the Western Hemisphere and the 5th highest in the world. The gardens hide advanced engineering. The 28-acre space sits atop 2 platforms weighing 37,000 tons that cover a working rail yard with 30 train tracks, 3 rail tunnels, and the new Gateway Tunnel, which will eventually connect the district to Penn Station. 300 watertight chambers to enable construction underwater, 4 to 5 feet in diameter and 20 to 80 feet deep, were drilled between existing tracks to support the platforms. Related is using data from cell phones and cameras to monitor and react to traffic patterns, subway schedules, air quality, power demands, temperature, and pedestrian flows. And visitors can opt in to receive notifications helping them get around Hudson Yards, purchase tickets to the vessel, and get information about events and experiences in the neighborhood. Over the platforms, the Nelson Bird Waltz-designed 5-acre square and gardens feature more than 28,000 plants and 200 shade-tolerant trees native to New York State that were grown in New Jersey for 4 years before being planted. Lead landscape architect Thomas Waltz conceived of an urban oasis in Manhattan. To make the space feel larger, Waltz made the plaza's paving go from building to building instead of outlining them with curbs and gutters. To keep the soil hospitable for trees and to allow them to grow to their full height, despite sitting above a rail yard that can reach 150 degrees, a system powered by 15 fans used in jet engines ventilates the tracks below, and cooling liquids are circulated through a network of tubing to protect roots. Because plants can only grow 18 inches deep and trees 4 feet deep in the soil bed at Hudson Yards, sand and gravel were sandwiched between concrete to help the roots grow wide and shallow. To minimize the neighborhood's burden on the city's sewers, rainwater is collected in a 60,000-gallon tank and used to irrigate the plants, saving 6.5 megawatt-hours of energy and offsetting 5 tons of greenhouse gas a year. And what are the critics saying about Hudson Yards? Reviews, to say the least, have been mixed. Some have heralded Hudson Yards as an ambitious experiment in urban planning, sustainability, and smart infrastructure. Others have accused it of being a billionaire's playground. Architecture critic Justin Davidson, writing in New York, deemed it West Side Westworld. The New York Times, for its part, criticized the tax breaks developers and businesses received, even as Amazon was scorned. Love it or hate it, Hudson Yards will forever impact the urban fabric of New York City, and only time will tell what kind of neighborhood it will shape up to be. What's next for Hudson Yards? Hudson Yards, the office tower designed by Foster & Partners, will serve as the headquarters for BlackRock, the investment management firm. There is a whole new chapter in store for New York City's Hudson Yards. The Western Yard is expected to open in 2025, and it will bring an additional 6.2 million gross square feet to the development. Stay tuned.